You want miracles? I got miracles. This one's involving my son, who's about to be 40 years old. When I was very young, about 13, my family and we lived in Dublin, Georgia. My dad owned a Huddle House restaurant, and I used to have this boyfriend named Tommy that would come over and see me. We'd have burgers and listen to the jukebox. It was all very innocent. But when Tommy would walk in, my dad would always like to tease him and say, "Tommy, she's not here. She's out with Tough Tony from Tennessee." Well, funny thing is, we wound up moving from Dublin, Georgia, moved to Florida, moved a couple of places in Florida, and then eventually moved to East Tennessee. So eventually I did land in East Tennessee. And while I was here, I had a baby boy. And my baby boy was born sick. My beautiful baby boy was born sick. And he had to fly to Johnson City Medical Center. And I stayed back recovering from a C-section. So we sent our then pastor, Jim Bunch, to the medical center to pray and visit our son in the neonatal intensive care unit. It was very touch and go. It was a very, very scary time. But they let him in, they garbed him out, and anyway, he got to put his hand through the little incubator thing, and he got to touch our son and pray. So all is wonderful. Eventually, my son got to come home. Now, that's a good story. My son got to come home. Great. He was sick and he's better. That's not where the story ends. No. Here's where the miracle happens. I decided to go to school to become a respiratory therapist. And I was going to East Tennessee State University. And when I was doing my rounds at the Johnson City Medical Center, I decided to do a case study on my son because he was there for respiratory ailments as a baby. And I pulled his chart and I sat down and I'm reading his chart, which is like this thick. I mean, it's this thick. And it's that thick because in the neonatal intensive care unit, for those that don't know, it's one nurse to one baby. And they sit there and they chart every little thing that happens all day and all night long. So I'm looking through his file, and I get towards the end of his file and I see that he's not making any improvements. There's nothing happening that's good. But the nurse notes that the pastor is there to visit my son. And she notes the date and time, and she notes his vital signs and everything. And then the very next, she's noting while he's there, how, everything. She's just noting my son's heart rate and just vitals, his blood pressure, his heart rate, all that. Then the very next entry, when the pastor leaves, the very next entry, in all caps, the first word she writes is the word remarkable, in all caps. And then she goes on to list all of my son's vital signs. And they went from being really crappy to being perfectly normal within minutes. And they stayed that way. And that's when they sent my son home. Now I'm sitting there with goosebumps all over me because I am literally reading in black and white a miracle about my son. I had no idea it was that big of a miracle. I had no idea that's when the tides turned instantly. And I'm sitting there reading it in black and white. Now, here's the other funny thing. We named him Anthony Michael, but we're Italian. And for Italian people, Tony is short for Anthony. And he definitely was tough and is Tough Tony from Tennessee. Oh yeah. Hey, miracles happen. Like, follow, and share. God bless.